Hello everyone, this is the Southern Hellenist. I am back with another video. So most people that are subscribed to me will notice that the video that I did 2 days ago, the horrors of cultural assimilation, was removed. That's because somebody had commented that I had made a huge mistake in the video. So I decided to delete it and redo the video, and hopefully I will get my point across a lot easier. Sorry for how my hair looks. I'm actually going to be getting it washed tonight because tomorrow I'm going to be getting my last COVID-19 shot, and that unfortunately is going to cause my arm to hurt a lot. So you get to see my horrible hair for about 25 or 30 minutes or something like that. So I had said in the previous video that I had deleted that I have a book called, it was theology too, but it's actually assent to, and it's a collection of essays that deal with theology and polytheism and those connected things. There was a couple of them that I really did like. I really didn't read all of them. Was it Michael Greer, or I forgot which author it was, actually did a great essay and mentioned about, the church using the stories of the gods as literal and using that to draw people away from the old religion and all that. So, what exactly is cultural assimilation? Okay. This is my definition of cultural assimilation based on those words. Cultural assimilation. So cultural assimilation is defined in my words as absorbing the culture that you conquer. Just like the Borg assimilates culture. So they do a form of cultural assimilation. Cultural assimilation has never... if you guys can find examples of how cultural assimilation has been great for people, please let me know in the comment section. I really appreciate it. But cultural assimilation, as it was done by the Romans, was never good. So let's get in context about the Romans. The Romans believed that their empire was civilized, that their people were civilized, and if you were not Roman, if you did not worship, the emperor, if you did not dress while Romans dress, if you didn't read Latin, if you were not under the yoke of the empire, you were considered a barbarian. And there were several cultures that were considered barbarians. One of them that, okay, so let's put this into context about the Celts. The Celts, C-E-L-T-S, the Celts. The people from Britain, from France, from all these different places. So the Celts, the Celtic people, they were considered to be the ultimate barbarian. Hold on one second. Oh. All right. So we're talking about the Celtic people. The people of Gaul, the people of Britain, people of Ireland, things like that. The Celts. The Celtic people were considered the ultimate barbarian. And the reason for it is the sack of Rome the first time around by the Celtic people. And they were talked about by the Greeks. They were, there's actually a painting of them. I don't know where I found it, but they were in Egypt. So they went around and they would do stuff for these much more powerful empires, and they were paid for it. So I don't know how much he asked for to leave Rome, but it was a lot of money. So Roman children were taught to hate the Celtic people from the time they were at their mother's knee. The Celtic people were barbarians. They were not Roman. They were uncivilized. They were backwards, whatever. So what does Rome decide to do? They decide to assimilate their territory, or to draw their territory into the Roman Empire. And when they went in there and they absorbed their territory and added it to Rome, they usually did it at the end of a sword, which is typically how later on down the road Christians would forcibly convert non-believers. They still had this mentality that they were civilized and people that were pagan were not civilized. And we get a lot of our thinking from Rome, from the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire was the most predominant, the most powerful empire. And a lot of people say the Roman Empire actually never fell. They just morphed into the church. So cultural assimilation is never, ever, ever done in the best interest of the people. And I will agree with, I don't remember his name, that the Romans never, ever, ever defeated the Christians. The Christians actually defeated Rome. But that was because of many different things. It was because of the fact is that Rome had gotten too big. If Rome had been a much more stable empire, Christianity probably would not have gotten the traction that it did. That's just my own personal opinion. But the Roman Empire was in decline for a long time, and there was a lot of stuff that was involved. So, when you are learning about these different empires, these different polytheistic empires, they will always have their own history, they will always have their own culture, but they will always, not always, but they will most of the time be defeated by the Romans, who assimilated not only the people, but the land and the culture and the gods, or they Romanized that culture and everything. So the Celts, C-E-L-T-S, the Celts, they were absorbed into the empire, and when they were absorbed into the empire did things to ensure that they could never function without their help. And one of the things they did, and this happened in Britain, they assassinated the Druids. And Julius Caesar talked about the Druids in, I don't remember the name of the book, and he goes, and we get some of our information about the Druids from Julius Caesar. When he and the Romans saw how much power that the Druids had, when they went to Britain to add Britain or Britannia to their collective, the first thing that they did was to kill off the Druids. And they knew that without the Druids, the Celts, C-E-L-T-S, the Celts, could not practice their religion. They could not go up against the might of Rome. And they slaughtered these people in Anglesey like they were livestock. Of course, the Druids survived in Ireland because Rome never went there. I believe I heard they had a trading post in Ireland, but that was as far as they went. I think Ireland was just a little bit too much for them. So you have this belief that if you adopt our culture, if you adopt our thinking, you adopt our way of life, that everything will be so much better. And in reality, the moment that the legions left England, things just went downhill. And then, of course, you have the Norse to come along, and they turn their back on their Christian religion, and they become pagan once again. Or their descendants. It's their descendants who become pagan, not. So cultural assimilation is really a form of cultural appropriation. And what I mean by that is, not only did they equate the gods with their own, but they would build these temples that had nothing in it that was even remotely connecting to that place. Yes, you had their name mentioned, but they were taken out of their context and they were Romanized. So when we go and we look at now, if you are practicing Roman religion, you are very well aware of the assimilation of the people into the culture, the forced slavery of hundreds of thousands of people as a whole, and whatnot. But yeah, so I mean, Rome went and tried to bring the Norse under their dominance, and it did not work. In fact, there's a holiday that celebrates that. And another thing that happened when they absorbed the culture that they had conquered, they totally eradicated any rights that women had. And it was designed to bring women into the whole thing where they were the properties of their fathers and they had no rights. In fact, when Egypt became a Roman province, all of the rights and privileges that women had for the last 2,000, 3,000 years was totally eliminated. Women became second-class citizens. This did not happen overnight. It actually took a very long time for Egypt to adopt the Roman belief that women were lesser beings. When they conquered the Celtic people, the women lost their rights. So that is what ended up happening. And if you're practicing, if your Reconstructionism is centered in Gaul, you can either do pre-Roman or after Roman and do it that way. But cultural assimilation, especially at the hands of the Romans and the hands of a sword, is always bad. And I will actually say that the forced conversion of the Norse and other people to Christianity could be considered a form of cultural assimilation. I might be wrong, I don't know. But it is designed to destroy and to erase another culture and turn it into something that it was never meant to be. But yeah, so I'm going to end it here. I hope that you guys enjoy the video. I hope this time around I did make a lot more sense than the previous one, and I will upload that later on today. When I wake up, I will be doing a ritual to Apollon. Stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys around. So until next time, may you be happy, healthy, most importantly be safe, and hail to the gods.